Good morning to everyone. I am K. Madhusudan Reddy. Now I am going to explain food delivery project with Stack, which I was did under the guidance of WebStack Academy. While coming to the purpose why we created this app is the purpose of this app is project is to develop a food delivery app using the Marin Stack. Marin Stack is a combination of Express, React, Node.js, and MongoDB. This app allows the user to order food items. This app is designed to be user-friendly with clean and modern interface. While coming to the architecture which this app can consist is the food delivery app is built using Main Stack. The app consists of several components including the home page, my order page, cart page, and login and logout page. While coming to the home page displays the list of restaurants and includes a search bar and filter the options. The menu page displays the list of items in the menu and allows the user to add items to their cart. The cart page displays the list of items in the user cart and allows the user to place an order. The confirm order page displays the details of the user order with its delivery address. After confirming the order, it will redirect to the payment page and then to the order history page where user can see their order history. Well, coming to the future, which this project can consist is user authentication, browsing restaurants, view menu, cart management, payment integration, and order history and responsive design. While coming to user authentication, allows the user to sign up, log in, and manage their profile, that is, update user profile and password. While coming to the browsing a restaurant, displays a while coming to the browsing a restaurant, browsing means which displays a list of restaurant which had with address and ratings including search and filtering options. While coming to the view menu, which shows the restaurant menu with dish details, price, and images. While coming to the cart management, what is cart management means? Enable user to add and remove items, adjust quantities, and view their cart. Order placement. Well, coming to the order placement, what is the order placement? It allows user to place an order and provide delivery address in order to deliver the food to our address. Payment integration. Well, coming to the payment integration, which integrate a payment gateway for secure transaction uh, in order to pay the money to the food. Order history. Well, coming to the order history means whatever the food we ordered, which can be able we can see in the order histories, which means we show user their past orders and order status. In responsive design, ensure the website works well on different devices, screen sizes, etc. What we learned before going to the demo of the project, we have to know what we learned in this internship means. We can learn in this internship introduction to the full stack, Marin stack, basics of HTML, basics of CSS, basics of JavaScript, introduction to React.js. Not only this, there is so many things we have learned in this internship. We can discuss further about that. Well, coming to the introduction of full stack, what is mean by full stack means full stack development refers to the development of both front end and back end portion of web application. While coming to the full stack, what we have learned for this internship means MongoDB, React.js, JS, HTML, CSS, and etc. While coming to the technology related to the full stack development, the full stack is divided into two parts, front end development and back end development. While coming to the front end development, it is the visible part of website or web application which is responsible for user experience. With the user directly interact with the front end portion of a web application or website. The technologies which we can use in order to develop a front end, the technologies are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. While coming to the libraries which we are used in this project in order to develop a front end project is React.js. Here we continue the, we already discussed there are two parts of the full stack development. First is front end and second is back end technologies. It refers to the server side development of a web application or website with a primary focus on how the website works. It is a back end how the website can work in order to fetch data, in order to store our data, is all or under comes under the web back end technology. It is responsible for managing the database through queries and APIs by client-side command. This type of website mainly consists of three parts: front-end and back-end and database. The back-end technologies which we can use libraries and frameworks are Node.js and Java. Why we mention only Node.js and Java means we have only learned these particular frameworks in this project. That's why I only mentioned these. There are so many frameworks comes under the backend technologies. We can learn about further. Well, coming to the databases, database is a collection of interrelated data which helps in efficient retrieval, insertion, and deletion of data from database and organize the data in the form of table, views, schemas, reports, etc. Why we use database means in order to store our data and retrieve data from the back end, we use the database. The database consists of data in different formats like tables, views, schemas, reports, etc. Examples of database is MongoDB. Why I mentioned only MongoDB? There are so many databases because, but I mentioned only MongoDB means we used only MongoDB in this project. Well, coming to the main stack, our main topic, and we developed a project based on this main stack. Main stack is a combination of MongoDB, Express, React, JS, and Node.js, as we discussed in previous slides. I missed the explaining the Express.js. Express.js is a small framework that works on top of Node.js web server functionality to simplify its APIs and add helpful new features. It makes it easier to organize your application's functionalities with middleware and routing. It adds helpful utilities to Node.js, HTTP objects, and facilitates the rendering of dynamic objects. Basics of HTML. Well, coming to our next topic, basics of HTML. Introduction. By what we are covering in this basics of HTML means introduction to HTML, HTML5, and the remaining topics are tags, elements, tables, links, images, and forms. Now we will let's go into the each topic briefly. Well, coming to the introduction of HTML, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is used to design web pages using a markup language. HTML is a combination of hypertext and markup language. Hypertext defines the link between web pages, and markup language is used to define the text document within the tag, which define the structure of web pages. This language is used to annotate, which means make notes for the computer text so that a machine can understand it and manipulate text accordingly. Most markup language example HTML are human readable, which means the most of HTML markup language is used as a HTML, which we can easily understand and which we can easily readable. That's why we mentioned here is a human readable. The language uses a tags to define what manipulate has to be done on the text. The HTML language is only based on the tags, which we can manipulate the data and we can easily understand, which we can specify the data where it should be on the web page. HTML is a markup language used by the browser to manipulate text, images, and other content in order to display it in required format, as I mentioned be- um, before. Well, coming to the versions of the HTML, HTML1 is released in 1993 and HTML2 is 1995, HTML3 is 1995, HTML4 is released in 1999, and HTML 4.01 is released in 2012, and the current version which we are using is HTML5, which was released in 2015. Well, coming to the HTML5, HTML5 the fifth and current version of HTML, as I mentioned before slide, it has improved the markup available for document and has introduced application programming interface and document object models. What are the features that special HTML5 consists is it has introduced new multimedia features which support both audio and video controls by using audio and video tags. As I mentioned, the HTML is totally depend upon the tags. There are new graphics elements including vector graphics and tags. In this semantic content by including header, footer, article, sections, and figures are added. Drag and while coming to the what is meant by drag and drop, the user can grab an object and drag it further, dropping it in a new location. While coming to geolocation servers, which helps to locate the geographical location of a client. As I mentioned, the remaining topics in basic HTML means tags. The HTML tag represents root of an HTML document. The HTML tag is container for all other HTML elements except except for the tag doc type. Syntax of the HTML tags or HTML tag name statement which we want to insert in the web page and a closing HTML tag. The examples of HTML tag is this HTML tag consists only in content we can see only in HTML5 version only. The remaining tags are HTML tag, HTML head, which we can set as a title in this and style, which we can style up our HTML, which we can style up our web page title and body, etc. There are so many tags. I mentioned only these tags only. There are so many tags. While coming to the next part, elements in the HTML, an HTML element is a collection of start and end tags with the content inserted in between them. While coming to the syntax of element, tag name, content, and content name as a closing tag. Here we have to mention the closing tag and ending tag differences. In ending tag, we have a forward slash. The parts in HTML elements is HTML element. The HTML element consists of three parts: opening tag, closing tag, content. As we mentioned in syntax, it is a opening tag, it is a content, it is a closing tag. Example of the element tag is h2. Welcome to the main stack and forward slash closing tag of h2. Why we mentioned welcome to the main stack means it is a content which we have to display in the front page, web page. Basics of HTML. We're coming to tables in the HTML. An HTML table is defined with the table tag. Each table row is defined with the tr tag. Whenever we want to insert a row in the table, we have to use the tag of tr. A table header is defined with the th tag. Whenever we want to define the header in a table, we have to use the tag of th. By default, table headings are bold and centered. A table data cell is defined with the tag td. Well, coming to our next topic, links. It is a connection from one web resources to another. A link has two ends, an anchor tag and direction. The link starts at the resource anchor and points to the destination anchor, which may be any resources such as image, video clip, or a soundbite, a program, an HTML document, or an element within a HTML document. Why we use the link tag means we have to, whenever we want to insert the image or video or any other document like HTML document, or any other elements which we have to include in that HTML page, we use the link tag. This basically means you will find many website or social media platforms like YouTube and Instagram which link an image to a URL or a text to a URL, etc. This basically means that by using a tag, you can link one element of a code to the another element that may not be in your code. Which what is the helpful future of these links means whenever we want to connect two web pages which we cannot contain in the same source code. Okay, while coming to the HTML link of the syntax, here we have mentioned a href, which is the URL, a text link which we have to content and closing, called as a content and closing tag with forward slash. Well, coming to the topics of images, it is a part of in basics of HTML. The HTML tag is used to add or embed the images to develop web page and website. The image tag is an empty tag, which means it can contain only a list of attributes and it has no closing tag. What is the specialty of this image tag is, as I mentioned here, is the addition of image. There is no closing tag for image tag. We can use the closing tag also, but the special feature it has means images don't have the closing tag. The addition of images improves the quality along with enhancing the design structure appearance of the web page. Nowadays, a website does not directly add images to a web page, as images are linked to web page by using image tag, which hold space for the image. There are two ways to insert the images into web pages, which we can discuss below. By providing a full path or address means URL to access an internet file. Well, we want to access the internet files which we have not in our uh, desktop or laptop. We use the URL in order to access that web page. By providing the file path related to the location of the current web page file. Well, while we referring the path means we have to contain that source in our web desktop. Okay. While coming to the syntax, image sources is equal to URL alt some text. By use why we use alt means when we want to explain about this URL or this image, about this image, we use the alt text, and we can mention the width and height in which size we want. Well, coming to the forms, which is the last topic we mentioned in basics of HTML. Form is an HTML element to collect input data containing interactive control. It provides the facility to input text, number, values, email, password, and control fields such as checkbox, radio button, submit button, etc. Or in other words, form is a container that contains input element like text, email, mail, radio button, checkbox, submit button, etc. Forms are generally used when you want to collect data from the user. For example, a user want to buy a bag online, so he or she has to first enter the shipping address in the address form and then add the payment details in the payment form to place an order. Why we use forms means whenever we want to insert our details or payment history, payment details, we use the form tags. Forms are created by placing input field within paragraph, performed text, lists, and tables. This gives considerable flexibility in designing the layout of forms. Well, coming to the syntax, form, content, closing tag of a form. There are so many form tags. These are the following HTML form elements: label, inputs, buttons, select, text area. Well, coming to the next topic, as we mentioned before in the index table, basics of CSS. Well, coming to let's go into this topics: introduction to CSS. Cascading styles, well, coming to the introduction to CSS, cascading styles is only referred to as CSS is a simply design language intended to simply the process of making web pages presentable. CSS allows you to apply styles to the web pages. More importantly, future is CSS enables you to do this independently of the HTML that makes up each web page. It describes how a web page should look. It describes colors, fonts, spacing, and much more. In short, you can make your website look however you want, which we can do with the help of CSS. CSS let developers and designer define how it behaves, including how elements are positioned in the browser. While coming to HTML uses tag, CSS use rule sets. CSS is easy to learn and understand, but it provides powerful control over the presentation of the HTML document. Here are the versions of the CSS, but well, coming to the CSS one, it is released, which was developed in 1996, and CSS2 was developed in 1998, and the version of 2.1 is developed in 2004, and CSS3 was developed in 1999, but we are using only CSS3 version. Well, coming to the basics of HTML, the another topic selector, we can divide CSS selector into five categories. Simply, simple selector, select the element based on name, ID, class, and the combinator selector, which we used for the selecting element based on the specific relationship between them. Pseudo class selector select the element based on a certain state. Pseudo element selector select and style a part of element. Attribute selector select the element based on attribute or attribute value. Well, coming to the example of a selector, here is the syntax of the selector. Text align means we can align our text as a right or left or the middle, and color describe the color of the text. Box model. The CSS The box model is essentially a box that wraps around every HTML element. It consists of margin, borders, padding, and actual content. The image below illustrates the box model. Explanation of different parts of this model is content. What are the parts this box model contains? Means content, padding, border, margin. As we mentioned here is as a picture, margin, border, padding, content. Basics of JavaScript is another topic as we learned in this project. What are the topics we covered in this basic JavaScript means introduction to JavaScript, data types, arrays, objects, statements, and function basics. Introduction to JavaScript. JavaScript is a lightweight cross-platform single thread and interrupted compiled programming language. It also known as the scripting language for web pages, which means JavaScript is used as a scripting language for web pages. It is well known for development of web pages, and many non-browser environments also use it. JavaScript is a weakly typed language, which means dynamically we can use it. JavaScript can be used for client-side development as well as server-side development. JavaScript is both an imperative and declarative type of a language. We have to note this point. JavaScript contains a standard library of objects like array, date, and map, and a core set of language elements like operators, control structures, and statements. While coming to the JavaScript can be added to HTML file in two ways, which means how we can add a HTML file to the JavaScript means there are two types, internal JS, external JS. While coming to the internal JS, we can add a JavaScript directly to our HTML file by writing the code inside the script tag. The script tag can either be placed inside the head or a body tag according to the requirement. While coming to the external tag, we can write JavaScript code in other file having an extension .js and then link this file inside the head tag of HTML file in which we want to add this code. It is easily understandable as I mentioned here. Well, coming to the data types of the JavaScript primitive, there are two types of data types: primitive data type and non-primitive data type. Well, coming to the primitive data type provided by JavaScript language are known as primitive data types. Primitive data types are also known as an inbuilt data type, means which are a standard data types which we are used in primitive data types, which we cannot change. That is the meaning of inbuilt data types. Examples of primitive data types are number, strings, boolean, null, undefined. While coming to the non-primitive the data types that are derived from primitive data types of the JavaScript language are known as non-primitive data types. It is also known as derived data types or reference data type, means the data types which we can define by ourselves or the non-primitive data types. The examples of these non-primitive data types is object. It is the most important data types and forms that building blocks for modern JavaScript. It is the whole JavaScript is depends upon these object data type only. We will learn about this data type in detail in further articles. Arrays. Well, coming to the arrays as a topic in JavaScript, JavaScript array is a single variable that is used to store elements of different data types. JavaScript arrays are zero index. The JavaScript arrays are non-associative in nature. Why we mentioned is zero index means we can access the index of the arrays is started from zero. We can access the elements in the array with the help of this index. Arrays are used when we have list of items. An array allows you to store several values with the same name and access them by using the index number as I mentioned here. Declaration of an array. There are two types of declaration of an array. Well, coming to the first one is creating an array using array literals. The syntax of the creating an array using literal is let array name whatever the name you want to give array is we can mention here, and values of array which we want to insert here array. Well, coming to the creating an array using JavaScript new keyword, which is the second type of describing the array. Let array name whatever the name we want to give to that array, and we have mentioned a new and array function, and we have to mention that whenever we want to insert elements, we can insert that elements in this function. Well, coming to the object, as I mentioned before slide, object in JavaScript are the most important data type and form the building blocks for modern JavaScript. These objects are quite different from JavaScript primitive data types like number, string, booleans, null, undefined, and symbol. In the sense that these primitive data types all store a single value each, depending on the data types. That in the syntax for the object is new object value, let object name key name value. Whatever the name we want to give that value, we have to mention here, and the value we have to give that variable we have to mention here. Well, coming to the statement, which is the last topic of the JavaScript, the programming instruction written in a program in a programming language are known as statement. The order of the execution of statement is the same as they are written. Semicolon. There's some examples of statement as semicolon. Semicolon replaces JavaScript statement. A semicolon marks the end of the statement in JavaScript, why we use the semicolon in JavaScript. Mean whenever we want to end the statement in JavaScript, we use the semicolon. Code block. JavaScript statement can be grouped together inside curly brackets. Such groups are known as a code blocks. The purpose of grouping is to define statement to be executed together. Nothing but coding block means whenever we want to wrap up the two or more statements in a curly braces are known as coding blocks. coding blocks, and whenever we want to execute as a group. Well, coming to white space, JavaScript ignores the multiple white space in the JavaScript, as we all know, as we well known about this white space. Well, coming to the functions in JavaScript, a function is a set of statements that take inputs, do some specific computation, and produce output. We, we are well known about this function. What is the purpose of this function is as same in JavaScript also. The idea is to put some commonly or repeatedly done tasks together and make a function so that instead of writing the same code again and again for different inputs, we can call that function. The main purpose of this function is whenever you want to reuse or loop the same function repeatedly, same code repeatedly, we use the function in order to save our time complexity and space complexity also. The syntax of this function is function. We have to mention the keyword function and name whatever we want to give that function, and parameters what we want to pass to that function we have to mention in function name in brackets, and body whatever we want to describe. Well, coming to the introduction to the React.js, which is the main part in the React.js is an open source JavaScript library, which means React.js is a library used to create user interface in a declarative and effective way. It is a component-based front-end library responsible only for the view layer of a view controller model view controller architecture. React is used to create modular user interface and promotes the development of reusable UI component that displays the dynamic data. While coming to the working of React.js, React creates a virtual DOM in memory to update the browser DOM. The virtual DOM will try to find the most efficient way to update the browser DOM. This is the working of React.js. Well, coming to the how the browsing can be done in HTML in React.js means we can see here. Okay. Well, coming to the this is the these are the parts. These are the concepts we learned in this project in order to develop a project in order to develop a project our project like a food delivery project using a Marin stack. Now what we have to install in order to develop our project efficiently and in order to store our data and mails and payment history, we can now see about that. We have to install some applications for that. While coming as I mentioned installation process, we have to install these three applications in order to develop our project. We have why we use that is VS Code installation, that means Visual Studio Code installation, Node.js installation, and MongoDB installation. Why we use VS Code installation means we worked this project and VS Code only. Well, now discuss about VS Code installation process, how we can install this process. Now let's see. VS Code installation. First step is visit the official Visual Studio Code website at, as I mentioned here, link. And now the second step is download for Windows. Click the download for Windows button. This will download the installer executable.exe file. As I mentioned here, here is the window version for the window. We can click on the window button. It can download the installer executable file. Well, coming to the third step, locate the downloaded.xl file and double click on it to run the installer. Okay. The fourth step is clicking on I accept the agreement and then click the next. As I mentioned, while clicking the file .exe file, it will come like this. And while clicking the button While clicking the button, I accept the agreement and clicking next. It will navigate to the fifth step. You can choose the installation location where we have to install our Visual Studio. If you don't want to do changes, directly click on the next. There is a default location is also there for C drive. It is the common default location to every PC. It comes like this. While coming well, we don't want to change our location. While simply clicking on the next button, it will navigate to the sixth step. It will ask for selecting start menu folder. Clicking on the next button, as I mentioned here, while coming to the name and clicking next, it will navigate to the seventh step. Choose any additional task you want, such as creating a desktop shortcut or adding to the start menu. Click next. It will ask whether we want to add icon to the desktop, or we want to, when we don't want to access it from desktop, we can access it from menu bar. Okay, well, after that, clicking the whatever we want in checkbox and clicking next, it will navigate to the eighth step. Review your chosen setting and click the install button. This is the last step. We want to install whenever we want to install the Visual Studio. While accepting all the terms in previous step, now we have to install. While clicking on the install button, it will navigate to the ninth step. Wait for the installation process to complete. Once it's done, click the finish. After installation of the process, it will pop up a window. It will pop up a window to finish the process. Here is the window finish button. Whenever we click that finish button, it will close. Okay, well, coming to the node.js installation process, it is the second installation process we are using in this project. Download.js. Well, whenever you want to download Node.js, go to the official website, Node.js website at HTTP mentioned here link. Well, coming to the next step, this is the window pop up whenever we enter into the Node.js installation. Well, coming to the next step, choose a version. There are two main versions of Node.js: LTS, long-term support, and current. For most users, it recommended to choose the long-term version as it more stable and suitable for production environment. Whenever click the official website, it will pop up the window like download. When we want to install Windows, whenever we want to install Mac OS, we can install whatever we want. Well, coming to the third step, select your operating system. Node.js support various operating system as mentioned in the previous image, including Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Click on the appropriate download link for your operating system. Run the installer. Windows, Mac OS, Linux, whatever you want. Huh? Whenever we click on that, this window is pop up in that, and clicking the next button, and we will pop up this window, and accepting the terms. I accept the terms in the license and agreement, and checking up this box and clicking the next button, we will navigate to this folder. As I mentioned in the Visual Studio Code, it is a common file default file location where we have to install, where we can install uh, where we can install our file, where we install our file. While clicking the next button, it navigate to this window, and clicking the next button, it will navigate to the tools for native models. And nothing we have to do in this. We have to click next button. Ready to install Node.js is pop up after clicking the next in previous step. And we have to, in this step, what we have to do is install the node.js. After clicking the node.js, it will it will copy the new files which we have to use, which we are helpful to our node.js. And after completing the downloading files, it will Verify the installation process. Once the installation is complete, open command prompt and type the after installation process we have done in previous step. After knowing what version we have installed, and we have to know about that. We have to know about that. Really, now what we have to do for that is now open the command prompt and run the command what I have mentioned here. We should know about versions about the um, node.js. Okay. Now while coming to the MongoDB installation, this is a third installation process we have to install in this project. Why we used the MongoDB means in order to store our data, backend data in this MongoDB. While clicking this link, we can navigate to the main website of the MongoDB. And while clicking the main website and scroll up, we can see the version, windows, and packages. And while clicking the download button, run this MSF file. Second step is run this MSF file. After downloading, it will navigate to it will pop up this window, and clicking the next button. What we have to do in this next step is accept the terms in the license agreement and select the next, as I mentioned here, and clicking the next. And next step is select complete, and clicking the complete button in the pop-up window and clicking the next. In server navigation, in servers configuration, click next. Okay. Server, as I mentioned in this step, server service configuration, we have to click the next step. And next step is check the installation MongoDB compass and select next. Clicking the next button, it will navigate to this pop-up window, installation MongoDB, and simply click the next button, and it is ready to install the MongoDB. Window is pop up. Now we have to install by clicking the install button and clicking install, and once completed, it will navigate to the downloading files window. And once the file is downloaded, it will navigate to the click on the finish button. It will pop up windows like this, and finish the process by clicking the finish button. Okay. Well, coming to these are the application we have to install in order to run our project. Well, coming to the project, what have did in this internship means, now let's go what we have did in this project. And these are the topics we have covered in this project: logging into the website, forgot password, counting and sorting of restaurant, adding of items to the cart, placing of order details, mail trap, and strip. We will discuss this about in the last of this project. Now while coming to the login into the website, whenever we run our website, it will show the main page. While clicking the main page look like this. While clicking on the login page, it will navigate to the mail id and password enter field like this. It will come here is the login option. We have to mention the mail id password which we have used in the registration process to this website. Okay. What is the next step means clicking the login option at the bottom, where after entering the details, while clicking on the login button, it will, here we mentioned details, and clicking the login button, it successfully logged like this. How we can know successfully logged in means here we can see the profile, our profile of instead of login button. Okay. Now what are the next step we have to did in this project means clicking on the profile, we can get the drop down menu. While clicking on the profile, we can get the drop down menu like this. Clicking on logout, we can log out the website. Well, the sixth step we have did in this project is clicking on logout. Whenever you want to log out in this website, we can use this option. While clicking on the login button, it logged out successfully. It popped up like a message. Okay, the next step is clicking on the profile button. We get the our profile as I showed in drop down menu. While clicking on the profile, we can navigate to the profile. Okay, the next step is forgot password. After clicking the login button, there is an option forgot password. After clicking the login option, as I mentioned before, there is the option forgot password. And there is a new user also. Whenever we are new user to this website, we have to register first and then only we have to log in. Okay. While coming to the forgot password, after clicking forgot password, it navigate to the forgot password page. After entering the mail ID here, and clicking to the proceed button. After entering the mail ID, we get the mail of reset password in the mail trap. We will discuss about the mail trap in last of this section. We have to know about where we can get the mail ID. We don't get mail ID, mail for our personal mail. We have to log in to the mail trap in order to get mail. While clicking on the reset your password, now clicking on the reset password, it will navigate to the new password page and entering the new password and set password. After entering the new password and clicking the set password, we can, as we discussed in discuss now and we can, as we discussed in the login side, we can log in as why I mentioned we can, as we discussed in the login slide, means we can log in as before, as I mentioned in the login section. Okay, now coming, what is the main feature of this project is counting sorting of a restaurant. Here is the count of the restaurant is mentioned. What are the the number of restaurants I have in this project is 8 restaurant. There is a count of 8 restaurant is 8. Sort by pure veg restaurant. Here are three options. There are three options: pure veg, sort by review, sort by options. Okay, sort by rating. Okay, while clicking on the pure veg button, it will navigate to the pure veg, and here we have to know the count of restaurant is changed. Because there is only pure veg restaurant, is only two restaurants is there. Okay, next step is sort by reviews. While clicking on the sort by review, whenever we want, whenever we whenever why we use this button means, when we know we actually we search about restaurant based on the rating and based on review, because everybody review about the food of a restaurant based on the taste. That's why we use reviews. Whenever click on the review button, it will navigate to the review section and show the restaurant we have which we have high rating in ascending order. Okay, sort by rating. Now fourth step is sort by rating. Whenever we click on the sort by rating, it will navigate to the sorting section, and it will show the restaurant based on the rating which we have. Highest rating showed in first and lowest rating should be showed on last. Okay, now adding items to the cart. This is the last part. Adding items to the cart. By searching in search bar, we can get the restaurant. What I searched here is pizza. And whenever click the enter button after searching, it will navigate to the restaurants. It will navigate to the restaurants of pizza. And after clicking the selected restaurant, we get beverage of the restaurant, menu of the restaurant. Whenever we want to add items to the cart, we can add cart button. There is a add cart to button, and clicking add to button, the count of item will be increased. After selecting food item, the count of the item will be increases at the cart. Whenever I click the second item, here count is increased, as I mentioned in this step. When we click on the plus button, it increases the count of item but not cart items. Whenever we click the plus button here, as I mentioned, it increases the count of the count of the each item, not the count at the cart items. Okay, we have to mention, we have to note that point. Okay, whenever whenever we add the items, we can pop up the window like this: item added to the cart. Okay, now when we click the cart button, we get the list of items. Whenever we click the cart button, we get the details of the items which we have added to the cart. Okay, let's see. These are the items we added to the cart. The next step is placing order. This is the major role placed in the project. After clicking the checkout option, it goes to the delivery address page. Okay, after entering the details and clicking the continue to navigate to the confirm order page. After confirming the page, what after knowing the details what we mentioned, proceeds uh, proceed to the payment. Okay, well, coming after clicking the proceed to payment, we have to give the card, we have to give the card details and proceed to the pay. After entering the card details and clicking the pay button, it confirm the order like this. Where we have to where we can know the order is placed or not. In Stripe, we get to know whether our order is placed or not like this. Here here we can see our place order placed. Okay, order details. After clicking the order details, it navigate to the order page like this. The button which we can get after order successfully. These are the order we have placed in this page. When clicking the I button here, it navigate to the order ID page. Whatever the ID we have, we get the our order. While coming to the Mailtrap and Stripe, Mailstrap is a mail delivery platform for individuals and business to test and send and control mail infrastructure in one place. This is we have to know about this in order to log in. We have to log in this Mailstrap. We have to create an account in Mailstrap in order to get mails to the Mailtrap. Stripe. This is a it is a suite of API powering online payment processing and commerce solution for internet business of all sizes, accept payment and scale fast. This is in order to transaction, in order to payment in this, in order to a payment in this project, we have to create an account in Stripes. Okay, this is the demo. This is the presentation. What I want to give is done. Okay, thank you for giving this chance.